I'm Rolanda, and I'm from Trinidad. I have a multiracial background, which goes back to Venezuela, which is Spanish, native, the Indians from there, and my grandfather on my mother's side is Chinese and French, and my father is African and Indian. So I'm usually, the Caribbean people get me, but Americans usually don't. So I could go, like in California, I was Mexican and Somalian, and in New York, I could be Dominican or Indian. So
I spoke to you though, Rolanda.
yes,
And what did you say that you might be classifying yourself as just because it was easier?
a black.
Black.
Yeah, I do embrace all of it, but I could identify with the challenges of being a person of color. And, it's easier for me to say that I'm black than to go through the whole list of what exactly you are. I think it's an American thing though, to come here and put a label on yourself and coming here to America. I remember when I started high school, I didn't know what to check off because I've never done that, to check off, the list. And from a country where most people look like me, and we never really had to, it's black, there's Indian, there's all races, so we never had the question of, what are you? That's the first thing Americans do is, what are you? So, I remember checking off Hispanic on the paper, not even knowing what that was. And I remember in high school, in Virginia, the teacher walked up to me, a science teacher. We were taking a test, and she saw that it was checked off on my paper, and she put a sachet over to me, and she said, "What's that? You should change that because you're black." And I just didn't know what to make of it. That's the thing. If you tell them you're Spanish, they automatically say, well, you don't speak Spanish, so you're not Spanish, okay? And if I say, well, I'm Indian, black people quicker say, okay, well, she's Indian, she's not black, okay? So it's, and if I say I'm Indian to an Indian person, well, you're not really Indian. You have all these other things, and you don't come across as an Indian woman, So it's, So, it's easier for me to see, I'm black, because we judge more on the color of our skin. And when you look at me, you see a person of color. And it's quicker for, them to say, well, she's black.